Yeah, I have heard. I forgot all about it. When you go on to probation, you actually waive all of your rights. So no matter where you are, whatever you're doing, if a cop comes up to you, you have no rights. You're not free to say, well, is this just a free conversation? You know, I don't have to talk to you. I can walk away. No, you don't have the right to do that. When you're on probation and a cop walks up to you, any sort of law enforcement, you are to identify yourself. You have no rights. You've lost every one of your rights. You get pulled over, you're in some business, you're working in some business, they want your ID. Well, being on probation, they don't tell you this. You have to give you your ID. You give them that ID you're holding. But there's one thing you really don't have to do. You don't have to tell them, that's me. Oh, here's this ID of a legal person, but that's not me. I paid to be able to hold that because they say I gotta have it so I could be able to go to work, cash a paycheck, get a loan, do business. I can't do anything without it. And you gotta pay, which is like a rent, a tax, to hold on to it, to use it. But you're not allowed to write the all caps name. You're not allowed to write that down when you sign anything in all caps. You can't do it. Because then you're impersonating the legal entity. They're getting you to commit a fraud and a crime. To impersonate something you're not. To say you're something that you're not. You're actually telling them a lie when you're telling them that that's you when it's not you. Because you do have a name. It does sound and look like that name. You know, sound like it when it's pronounced. But that's not your name. Your parents did not create an all capital letters name for you too. Only one, capital in the beginning and the rest lowercase. But they didn't give you the last name you have. That's your surname. That's not given to you at birth. It's just added to your name that's created and given to you at birth. So your given name or names, your first name and your last name that they call your middle name because they attach a surname to your name as a last name without your consent. They didn't tell you you don't have to have that attached to your name. You don't. That's what incorporates you, is that last surname. That incorporates you into their jurisdiction. And so when you use that last name, you claim that last name as your name, you tie yourself to their jurisdiction. And you're now that legal entity. You have to go through the whole thing and you have to stand firm on it. I don't have a surname. I don't have a last name. This is my name, given name. You're giving them your given name. But you're telling them just plain and simple that that's not your last name. You use the last name, you know what? You're in resistance, kind of like protest. When you write the last name, you put it in the brackets. That squares it off. So they have the last name. They'll know that you know something about that last name when you put it in brackets or just square it all off, you know, just aligned all around it. And that you don't accept it. but you have it there because you can't have the state created all caps name and the social security number that's attached to it to use to get to go to work and get loans, cash paychecks, do business with banks and other businesses. Oh, and when you're on probation, you're a client. I just heard a cop on a here's the deal. State to the probation officer, the first one that answered the phone, and says, I have one of your clients, and I need to know who his probation officer is. And because they finally got his name, he finally gave it up, and then because he's supposed to anyways, and then they found out he's on probation and all this stuff. So you're not just someone that's on probation. You are a client to do business with. You go in, you do what they want. You're working for them. You're giving them money in the fines and extra money for being on probation. A little bit extra because you got to pay them. And so you're working for them. It's involuntary servitude, forced labor, over fines, no victim. You're treated like a slave. We're going to punish you and you're going to do this and that now. And you're going to have to do it. And we're going to point guns at you, kidnap you, throw you in a dungeon. That's their job. Find people to throw as many as you can to throw into the dungeon and make us this much amount of money so we can stay in business and feed them the worst food ever. We all have a human right. We still have rights in jail, and we still have rights when you're in prison. And they don't want people to know it. Everybody has the right to eat like everybody else does that's in prison. It has the right to eat like everybody else does outside the prison. It's a right. It's food. We're supposed to have sustenance, not crap. I went into jail, and there's a dude that's been in there for a long time, or long enough. They filtered the toilet water out, and the sink right next to all that stuff is where that water comes out. And then they have a tank. It's still filtered water, toilet water, that they'll put sugar in, so you got something you could taste. It's sweet, and so you get sugar water, you get sugar in filtered toilet water, and you can get regular toilet filtered water or filtered toilet water. And this guy was on the phone and said, I got diarrhea, I don't know what's going on, and I said, yeah, in my head, I was like, yeah, it's the food you're eating in here. Our bodies ain't made to handle that stuff. And they treat us worse than animals. Like I said, that's why they call us males and females as an identification, rather than men and women, man and woman, as we are ought to be identified as. Those words, a boy and a girl, offspring. This is all human terms. Male, female, kids, children, and whatever else. That's identification and sex of all those, of animals and monsters and aliens They're aliens. This male alien, this female alien. So we call them an alien. We could call them male and female. Identify them as male and females rather than men and women. Humans. But we're to identify the authority and the people in the government as men and women of the government. Men and women of authority. Men and women of police. Men and women of law enforcement. Not males and females. Listen to what they tell you. Put two and two together. Wake up. Hey, Kafar. You're an animal to them. They'll call you a male suspect, a subject, a slave. Look up what a subject is. This subject, the legal definition of subject, and then the regular definition of subject. Read them both. And the legal definition is what they go by. I've got the information. I got bills now, and I'm not getting much work still. Not enough. Everything's still expensive. My bill should have been $89, and then all of a sudden it was $200 and something. They told me on the 24th, $89 and something. Due. On the 13th. Then all of a sudden I get another one, and I'm told it's $200 and something dollars due on the 13th. So they gave me two bills, which means that extra I'm paying for something else. And they know people can't sue them, can't rebut it, because we got no money. And there's not enough lawyers out there that'll do it pro bono. And when you win, oh, he gets money. I mean, a lot of lawyers can do that, and they know they can win. They don't have to get the money right off the bat. We can settle a lot of stuff. But like I said, when you're on probation, yes, cop walks up to you, you have to bow down, you have no rights, and you have to do what they want. You all take care. Bye.